This is going to be another travel vlog for y'all, or podcast episode. So if you don't really care about Chicago or Lollapalooza, then perfectly fine to skip it. I actually, I did another trip for just music. I talked about the episode where I went to Vegas just for the BTS concert. I pretty much did mostly a trip to Chicago to go to Lollapalooza. I did the last 3 days. I didn't do the first one just because, partially because I wanted more time to do other things this time around, and since Chicago's a little more walkable, a little better public transportation, and also there was most of the music there I wasn't as excited about, but I still had a great time. I spent several days because I got there really early on the Wednesday. I did Wednesday, Thursday, and I did a bunch of what they call artist dates, where I just pretty much did touristy things, Field Museum, Aquarium, Art Institute of Chicago, the American Writers Museum, stuff like that. Plenty of food, but I just mostly want to talk about Lollapalooza because this is just gotta talk about art, gotta talk about artists and everything else because that's kind of my thing now. And I honestly had the best time, especially going by myself. I really enjoy doing that because when it comes to these events, people are there for the same thing. It definitely gives you the option to make new friends, have interactions and everything else. People are there mostly for the same thing. Partially because the tickets are not exactly cheap. Even just for a general admission, it was over $100 per day. Even when you got a little bit of discount for doing like group days and everything else. And I had a great time. Honestly, Lollapalooza was very well organized. It definitely had a lot of options for food. I wish they had a little better options when it came to more cold stuff, not just like beer, wine. I found one place that had like frozen lemonade. Like in only one place that had like frozen yogurt. Like I wish it just had a little more stuff since it was the end of July. In Chicago, that's hot. It's a hot time. It's very humid. It's very sunny. It was very good. The music was very good. It was very well organized. Good security. I definitely went to a lot of different sets that I've never heard of, and really enjoyed it. The first day, I stood back a little bit on the first half of the day. I listened to Corday and Jordy, which I've never heard of, and those really good sets, really good music, really good crowds. And then I made my way in. The best part of being a solo person is that you can maneuver your way through things. And I was literally, for the Friday, I was 2 back from barricade for Glass Animals and Dua Lipa. Great sets. I had so much fun. I made some new friends there. We all had great time talking, just interactions, and just enjoying the music. It was, I really loved that. And I never would have had the option before to actually go to any of those artists. Saturday, I didn't go as early. I took my time because I wanted to make sure I wasn't overdoing myself. Again, a nice thing about Lollapalooza, because it's such a huge area, there's a lot of spaces with some shade, a lot of places that you can kind of sit down, lay down. I actually took a nap on the Sunday under some trees. No one bothered me and everything else. It was so nice. Not gonna lie, there was a little bit of a controversy for some people because, of course, everyone does videos of the crowd, the videos of things going on a bunch of the people who were what they call MOAs. It's TXT fans. How they took up a lot of space in the sets beforehand and didn't like interact. That is actually a lie. Because I was actually in that crowd. I actually took a couple times before. I wanted to actually check out those sets. It was Side Piece and then Dumont. I can't remember all of a sudden. And I actually again got one away from barricade because I wanted to see TXT, but I was gonna go beforehand. Side Piece, which was the one, it was 2 sets before them, was really good, and it was a DJ. I'm not really a fan of just going to DJ sets and everything else, but I actually enjoyed this one. It was a mixture of music, One of the guys actually did drums for a bit. They brought out a guest to do guitar on, and they did like Eye of the Tiger. Like, it was good remixes. It was a good mix of different songs, different beats, different melodies, all different stuff. And everyone's like bouncing around. We all had fun. It was singing and dancing and everything else. But the one after that, the Duke guy, was boring as hell. And the thing is, we didn't take up that crowd. Like, the side that does not have VIP, like, platinum side, because there's, of course, that section there on one side of the stage for them to have, doesn't have as many of the, like, the main fans at. The other side, yeah, there was a lot more TXT MOA fans. But in my area, I had several different groups of people who were there not to see TXT. They were just there to see, they saw a side piece, they went to see Duke because they recognized his name or anything else, and then they stayed for TXT. We weren't the only ones standing there because he was boring. I'm sorry, I don't care if you're standing up there and you're smoking. And the thing is, I was actually standing next to someone who was a dad who brought his daughter. So, of course, she was underage, so he needed an adult with her. He actually mentioned at one point, like, oh, this song has the same beat as the last one. And I was like, yeah, it does. It literally just had a different note. Same exact beat. And that repeated for several more songs. So almost 30 minutes, the same fucking beat. With different songs, there's different notes and everything else. There's nothing else to them. There was no actual words to the songs. It was just same. It was just the boringest techno stuff I've ever heard. Yeah, I'm not going to move around and jump and, like, cheer for that if you're boring. Like, he didn't even move around anything. He didn't barely interacted with the crowd. Like, it was just a boring set. Sorry if you're a fan of his. That's your thing. But I'm not going to waste my energy standing in the crowd to something that I'm not enjoying. And we tried. Like, we were all, like, everyone was jumping, having fun for a side piece. But the next one, no, not so much. TXT, of course, sadly, started slightly late. I think technical difficulties. Great set. It was great music. They had great stage presence and everything else. I've never seen them. I'm not like a huge fan. I wanted to see them because it was something different, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't stay late that night because I had to get back to the hotel to get some work done, because that's the one nice thing about working from home is that you can bring her along with you, but because I just decided to be lazy in the morning, I kind of need to get back and do that stuff. Sunday was absolutely no work. I got there a little after open because partially I wanted to see everyone freaking out, getting barricade for JHope, who was one of the closers. But I had fun going to other sets and everything else throughout the day. I was lucky since I was able to get Friday, I was able to get all the merch I wanted early enough and with no crowds. So I actually do have one of JHope's shirts. I did buy TXT. I got Green Day, of course, because I got my little punk rock heart had to get a few things like that. And honestly, I enjoyed it, but definitely Sunday it was either people were tired, it was just the people or something else. It was a different feeling. Like, I still enjoyed myself. I didn't feel unsafe in any way, which is kind of a nice thing being solo with going to these kind of things. I can't remember who the hell the first person I saw. Like, some of them I kind of caught like halfway through because I was walking around, wandering, just enjoying the other like festivity stuff you do in there. They had other like little tents for other live music and everything else, and I enjoyed them. I have a list. I cannot remember the name or where I put that list. I think it's on my phone. But the one I wanted to see Charlie XCX, which I did like her set. I have actually never seen her. I've never really seen many videos of her performance. Music videos, I've heard her music and everything else. I really liked what she did. And I really liked her set. She was actually really fun. She was very exciting. It was just very, very good production. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bored by the Kid Leroy. Not like he was boring in that, like, he just had no stage presence. It just wasn't my jam. I still sat there. Songs I knew, I sang along, I jumped around with people. The problem was that some of his fans were assholes. And the thing is, I understand. you get a crowd, you're with those kind of things, there's going to be mosh pits. There's going to be people jostling around, people jumping more, people more excited. I'm used to that. I've been to enough rock concerts to have no problem with that and everything else. But the I feel like the ones that I interacted with or around more were just honestly really fucking selfish and really fucking rude. Like, they were pretty much shoving people out of the way. A guy who was standing in the back when I went to get a drink and came back to my area, who was a veteran for one, had a service dog with him, which you were allowed to have. The dog was in no one's way. He also had earplugs on because to help protect his ears because they have better hearing and everything else. And these guys were harassing them, kind of like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, you don't need to be here with the dog. You're in our way. One, they weren't in our way because you literally had to, they veered out of their way from the direction they were walking to get to him. So fuck no. That was not in anyone's way. He was in the back of the crowd and still stood 4 or 5 feet behind that. They're the ones that were more, they were swearing at people, they were shoving people more. Just like, once the concerts, the set started, it was better because they were focused on the music and enjoying the set and everything else. But it just kind of, it put a sour feeling for the people who weren't like big fans of the Kid Laroi, but they wanted to see. Like, that's kind of the point of some of these things. You see people you've never wanted to see before or never had the opportunity, or you just kind of more casual. Like, it honestly was a little more sour to listen to it. Like, he wasn't bad. It's just, I didn't really enjoy it. Then it was a long wait. Believe me, I was thinking about doing Green Day, but I have seen them before, and so I went to JHope. I am a fan of BTS. If you actually saw the episode for about Las Vegas, I'm not like hardcore, because I'm not hardcore about anything really, because I just don't have the energy. But like, I actually loved that set. It was very entertaining, very good production, great music. I did not realize I knew all of his music, because I'm not, like, I listen to, like, I'll get like a random playlist on Spotify of just like K-pop music or just like the BTS radio or stuff like that. Like, so I've heard most of his songs, but pretty much everything he played, I have listened to, and I actually knew the song. I let people sing along with it and everything else, which is nothing new to me. I know a lot of music in non-English to sing along to. But I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It was great. I'm so proud of him for being the first Korean headliner there, and it was a great time. Overall, Lollapalooza was great. If you love music and you want to have an option to get all these different artists, I actually didn't realize how much they had for like DJs, which I found kind of strange because I thought it started off more the rock thing, because who started and everything else, which perfectly fine that they branch out and everything else. But it was just kind of one of those things of like, everywhere I went, I was kind of like, oh wait, that's a DJ set. Well, that's a DJ set too. I was waiting to see more indie rock stuff. They have some really good R&B artists, some really good rap artists, and everything else. So I overall loved the variety, loved the sets. Yeah, there were some that I didn't like because it just wasn't my thing. I wasn't going to be there and harass people. I wasn't going to be there and talk shit. I was just kind of like, okay, I'm going to move on. The thing is, like, with Lollapalooza, I felt safe. It was a great variety. It was easy getting it out. If you were polite and respectful, the people who worked there were going to be too. I never had a problem. Like, I'm so used to going through all these things with airports and concerts and all that stuff. Like, I knew how to get through security quick. Like, I already had my stuff opened up, and I already had my camera out. I had things already open, going out, kind of like, there you go. And if I had more time, yeah, I'll sit there and talk with them. It's pretty funny to see that some of them who work in there, it's an art fest, it's a music festival, that they never heard of concert earplugs. I was kind of like, so I was talking to someone about that, like, because he opened my little case for it, wondering what the hell it was. I was like, yeah, it's just for my ears, so I still listen to music really good, but I don't have any ringing in my ears later. I never had any hearing loss, and I can still hear everything great. So, like, the things you learn, the things you can connect people with. I had fun because I got to go shopping for other people, because I knew people knew where I was going, and so I had a bunch of people who wanted some of JHope's merch. Someone else wanted a Metallica shirt. another friend who was like really a big fan of Green Day. Like, so uh, luckily you can go in and out more than once. So I I had to go back one day on the Friday because I literally had like 3 bags full of just merch, which was really hard to pack on the way home, but so worth it. And the thing, it wasn't even that expensive. I did get a Lollapalooza tank top because I wanted all the names on there and I wanted the good design. But the stuff, like, there were a couple of things I'm kind of like, that's a long sleeve. Why is it $65? But other stuff was kind of like, oh, that's $25 shirt. That ain't bad. Like, oh yeah, that sweatshirt was only $50. Okay, that's not bad at all. Like, the prices weren't bad. There's a lot of spaces for you to cool off in. The hydration stations were great. Just little things that you can bring in water bottles. Like, at first when I wish they had a little better information because I wouldn't have brought my plastic cheap collapsible water bottle. I would have brought my metal one because more people were able to bring that. I would have preferred to have that than the other one because it's just I can hook it better. It was easier to carry. But I feel like that's the little thing that I feel like just the information they could have had more and sooner, because I didn't hear about the stuff until a couple days before I got there, which was kind of like, you got, what if people come early? Some people make a vacation and they like go visit family or something else. So it's kind of just one of those things of like, they could have had a little bit more, but it wasn't a bad thing. It's just a small thing to kind of keep in mind for later on. I just, honestly, I love it. I'm glad I did there, but unless I find, the next time around, like, more people that I really wanted to see, I'm okay never going to Lollapalooza again. Like, nothing wrong with it, nothing about it. It's just me as like an introvert who likes to try new things and everything else. Like, I did it once, I'm really good. I absolutely loved it, enjoyed it. Other tips people could kind of give, like just having the bags, like they could have given us a better idea of what bags to have on there, because I've done other ones where they actually give pictures out or give examples of certain things, where other ones are kind of like, don't give me a measurement, when the measurement was kind of like here to here, but only one pocket. Like, what does it count as a pocket? Like the big pocket? Like, does it need to have like slots on the side don't count as pockets? Like, and that part kind of just threw me off. I didn't want to bring very much there because it's just, I know how those work. It was just easier. I had my phone charger, battery pack thing. I had all my sunblock. I had a lot of fucking sunblock. And my water thing for carrying, my phone, my wallet. I love their bracelets. That was great. To be able to have a bracelet one, it's great to have for a souvenir, but also that's an easier thing to carry because it's already on you to get in. But it also had the chip in there so you can actually connect PayPal or Venmo to it. So I didn't have to bring a card with me. I literally had my on the Sunday, because I wanted less things with me as possible, because I wanted less carrying, less weight. I just had my license on me and my hotel card, and that was in my bra because that was easier to kind of keep out of the way, and it wasn't that bad. But that was kind of the best, easiest thing, and I loved being able to pay for that. And it was so much easier. And there were so many free things to do there. I loved that they had a decent amount of areas for you to take pictures, and they had volunteer workers to take the pictures for you. Because that's been a big problem for me, is going to these things and not having someone to take a picture for me because I'm alone. And you're always worried, of course, about someone taking your phone, someone taking your camera. It was easy to find help. They had a lot of EMTs there, a lot of like health personnel there, because people stay in the crowds too long and had to get pulled out because of overheating, dizziness. Like, some people definitely went to barricade really fucking early, and I am not one of those people. Like, I was very excited what the spots I got. I mean, of course, I wish I could be closer on some of them, because it's fun. It's more fun to be closer and everything else, but I had no complaints on where I got because of the time I was at, the time I got there, the work I did and everything else, and just how popular I were. So, again, you ever had a chance and you ever want to, and that's kind of the thing you love to do with music and everything else, go do it. Get the chance. And they're now actually getting Lollapalooza open to other countries and states. Like, Well, they've always have, but they're opening it again after the pandemic. This was the first one after the pandemic. I think they had the next ones coming up in Dubai. So they're slowly winding themselves back up. And if you can, go do it. It's definitely worth it. It's not that expensive. There's so many options and stuff. You actually could bring food in there. You just couldn't bring like a whole bag like McDonald's. Like, but you had a bar. You can like finish your Starbucks drink and throw it away when you got to the front and everything else. Like it was a good experience. It's very well organized, and I could not recommend it enough for other people because it was definitely very safe, even for the kids. Like any younger person I saw there did not have much of a problem. There wasn't any news of like sexual harassment, really any fights or like that. Like people were there to have a good time.